Yeah, this is Black Light. Greetings to all of my brothers and sisters and all those who follow me. I appreciate, your attention and listening to me. And we've been talking about Master Farad, Elijah Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam. And there are certain blacks that don't appreciate the Nation of Islam. They don't like the fact that, for one thing, they call the Nation of Islam called the Caucasian the devil. They don't like the fact that the Nation of Islam wants to separate because there are those who want to integrate. So, in the conception of this country, the blacks that were over here, some were slaves and uh, somehow got out of slavery, what they call slaves, but I say they were prisoners of war. And they helped in the Revolutionary War. They fought in the Revolutionary War. They fought in the Civil War. Some of them became politicians. Some of them were ministers. And uh, they want to integrate, and they believe in the equality of the system. But the vast majority of the black people didn't have such privileges or such a opportunity to help build this nation in that way. They were mostly what I used, prisoners of war, made to do slave work under severe oppression and severe uh, torture. And under this, for 400 years, they gave up their language, their culture, their God, and the knowledge of themselves. And then those Christian blacks, ones that converted over to Christianity, they believe that there are those Caucasians that are sympathetic to us, but will somehow blend in with those blacks. Some of them, did. Some blacks had an all-white congregation, some black ministers. But the majority of the black ministers only preached to the black people and not to the white people. So it was a separate and not equal society that that we were living in. And so for 400 years, the majority of the blacks tried to blend into the nation. Not only blacks, but other other groups, ethnic groups of color, like the Hispanics, the Native American, the Chinese, the Japanese, and all of them try to integrate, but end up uh, being separate, living in separate communities. So even some of the Caucasians were separated from their people according to status, like the so-called hillbillies, and the poor Caucasians. They a lot of times be trapped in the ghettos with the brothers, you know, those who don't have social standing. So we said, the Nation of Islam say, well, you know, we can't get along, so we might as well separate. Because there are those blacks that'll tolerate you killing blacks for no reason. They'll tolerate the injustice system, the injustice system, not the justice system. They'll tolerate that. The other ethnic groups, like the Mexicans, they're almost in the same boat that the blacks are. Not just the Mexicans, but the Puerto Ricans and those Latin-speaking countries, you know. And the Indians or the Native Americans got their own territory, but they used to have the whole United States and Canada too, you know, and South America, you know, but they are being colonized, and along with some of the blacks like the Haitians and other Spanish-speaking blacks, you know. So we can't really, after all this time, 400 or 500 years of trying to blend in with them, there's always something coming up that the black man get the short end of the stick. And so the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, well, don't refer to them as devils no more. Reason why? Because some of us have adopted the ways, the devilish ways of the Caucasian, and we turn it on each other. So we can't use that as a stick to beat the Caucasian over the head with no more. So, you know, the ministers, they don't refer to the Caucasian as devils, but as Satan, as the great Satan, because some of the poor whites, you know, they don't have nothing to do with the Caucasians' motives, because they're not accepted in high society. But if you notice that the system of the Caucasian is that of a gangster. He takes what he wants, and after he takes what he wants, he'll make a law against the same thing that he did to get what he wants. So you won't get no ideas that you can do what he do. And so most brothers think because they're inside the system and they're politicians and preachers and ministers and stuff, that they could get away with what the Caucasian has been getting away with for all these years. But when the Caucasian, he'll let them get away with so much, but then when he can't use you no more, he'll come down on you. And just like in the entertainment world, the gangsters run that. They always ran it. So even though brothers make their own label and they distribute of locally distribution, but when they want that overseas distribution or worldwide distribution, planet distribution, the Caucasian, the mafia, and the Jews, they got that locked down. Which the Jews and the mafia, they almost the same, you know. And so-called Jews, they almost the same, see. So just in the music world, since I was a part of the music world for a number of years and was learning as I go the business of the music. I'm going to speak on that for the next couple of videos. And what they saying about some of what the people are saying on YouTube and the internet, that the Illuminati run it, and you know, that's the gangsters. That's another word for gangsters. But the Illuminati they referring to are gangsters that you don't associate with the mafia. You know, they higher than the mafia. But the mafia, the Sicilians got black blood in them, see, and a lot of Italians got black blood in them. A lot of so-called Jews, a lot of them are just European, Caucasian, you know, and they don't have a majority of black blood in them. But those that live in the Middle East that call themselves Jews, some of them have black blood in them, see. See, it's only one nation of color, really, if you want to use that word color, and that's the black nation. So the rest is derivatives from the black man. So we're going to get into this on the next video. Black Light out.